From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
Sometimes I wonder why President Cyril Ramaphosa chose to get into a government of national unity with the DA rather than the EFF or MK. Did Johan Rupert tell the ANC, if you get in bed with black progressive parties, you can kiss your extra pocket money goodbye? Or is it because the MK party led by former President Jacob Zuma has too many ANC secrets that it might make the ANC's reign uncomfortable? Why is it that he chose racists over progress? And don't give us this racial inclusivity story. We are way past being fake to each other. White people will never consider black people as their equal, and black people will never like white people nor consider them human, as science has proven. I bet you're wondering, why am I still questioning the existence of the Government of National Unity a year after its formation? Now, DA Federal Chair Helen Zille wrote on X that the Boers took their education seriously and worked hard to get their children out of poverty, and we can learn a thing or two from them. And I'm like, you know what? This old hag has the guts to tweet that. This old piece of pork. She's a nasty piece of work. This old hag, born to German parents, her grandfathers from both sides of the family were allegedly guards at the concentration camps, delighting at the sight of burning flesh. Allegedly. Were the blacks and Boers offered the same opportunities in life? Do you think poverty for black people was a choice when the very same institutions your parents set up and benefited from is the main reason why the path for black people led them here to this very moment? Helen Zille is not even trying to be subtle with her racist mentality anymore. One thing about racists, homophobes, misogynists, and other bigots have in common is that they can't help themselves. No matter how hard they try to hide behind the masquerade of discipline, without fail, their true colors will inevitably reveal themselves. While black master's graduates are reporting to white high school dropouts because of the enduring impact of systemic racism, Helen Zille deemed it appropriate to post such BS. We don't have to go any further. In her own DA party, she made black politicians with master's degrees to report to that high school dropout, the illiterate John Steenhuisen. DA openly pushes for black inferiority just by the way their hierarchy is shaped out, with the white high school dropout at the top of the food chain and the black politicians at the bottom of the barrel. Helen Zille's ex-post about Boers taking their education seriously is incomplete. And as someone who had lived through apartheid, she should know that. We all know that the Boers used live ammunition and torture to force Bantu education down black people's throat. At its core, the Bantu education system was never designed to give black people professional skills and pull them out of poverty. It was intentionally created with the purpose of giving blacks just the right dose of knowledge for them to be good little servants who merely existed to elevate white supremacy. The enterprises, the so-called wealth the DA speaks of, were not built with the superiority intellect of Boers, but with the blood of black people. Yes, I said it, blood, because we know what would happen to a black man if he dared defy his master. We all saw what happened when black people tried to overcome the oppressive systems, especially the teenagers that fought against the useless Bantu education and tried to get real education so they can pull themselves out of poverty. Your father and his government friends massacred them. The apartheid government killed thousands of unarmed teenagers who tried to fight for their right to education on June 16, 1976. I don't have to explain to an 80-year-old hag about the history of this country when she lived through it and benefited from the brutality of the apartheid regime. I don't have to explain it to you. You know how the Bantu education system was set up. It was not to elevate black people. It was not to educate black people. It was not to give them professional skills so that they can take themselves out of poverty. No, you know that very well. It was created merely to give them just enough knowledge to elevate white supremacy, to work for you guys as maids, as garden boys, as clothing makers. Nothing serious. Nothing serious. And you wonder why we turned out the way we turned out today. Because of the systems. Apartheid was not about the brutality and just beating black people and torturing them. No, that thing is systematic. It was designed in the early 1600s, where white people saw it fit that the world is theirs and they will dominate in every faculty of life. They will build systemic institutions that will be irreversible systemic institutions that will debilitate black people, that will oppress us even further, institutions that are irreversible. That's why when we try to get rid of white people, there's just something, like there's something stopping us from getting rid of white people. Look at what happened in Zimbabwe. Got rid of white farmers. What happened? The global north sanctioned Zimbabwe. Used Zimbabwe as that country to scare Africa and say, you know what? If you dare defy us, your masters, we will leave you like Zimbabwe. They used our brother Zimbabwe to scare us, to make an example of what would happen if you go against the global north. They found ways to morph so deep that getting rid of them would be impossible. They formed it so deep. They always morphed. You get rid of them here, they grow somewhere. You get rid of them, they have morphed into the black society, into our cultures. Why am I saying they've morphed into our cultures? Helen Zille was recently on Showmax, the roast of Helen Zille, yes, on Showmax. I even unsubscribed from that streaming platform. Showmax is like Disney Plus, Hulu, and all of those streaming platforms you have in America. So we have Showmax. They did the roast of Helen Zille. And she was flaunting her privilege while making it a comedy, while reminding us of our painful realities as black, and made it a comedic scene, a comedic element, something to kiki, ha ha. And everyone in the audience, black people in the audience, Helen is so funny. Using comedy to stick it, to remind you that you are nothing. And you laugh, kiki, ha, ha, ha. No, that was distasteful of Showmax to even do that. So, and guys, the hatred for DA and Helen Zille should be personal. It should not only end in parliament. It should be in every faculty. When you meet her in these streets, on the road, you better look at her snacks. You better look at her like this. It should be, guys, if you're serious about getting rid of white people in Africa, you need to recognize them and hate them in every sphere of life. Whether in relationships, romantic relationships, in education, in politics, it should not end in parliament alone. Because we know that they're very manipulative. They can turn policies and parliamentary procedures into their favor. It should not end there. It should be in the streets, everywhere. Every chance you get, you should remind yourself that these people will never be your own. If you're serious about getting rid of them, you can't hate them during parliamentary proceedings and then kiki ha during comedy shows. She used the roast of Helen Zille on Showmax as a way to clean up their DA image and make them relatable to black people. Because they know black people, all they do is kiki ha. The subtle message there, she was sticking it. Your poverty-stricken realities, your inferiority, your unprivileged situation. She was sticking it to you using comedy, and you kiki ha. Everything should be taken seriously when it comes to black people. You should take everything to heart. If you are really serious about getting rid of white people in Africa, take it to heart. Can't hate them in parliament and then out of parliament in the park it's roses. No, hate them in parliament, hate them in the streets, hate them in the park, hate them in hotel lobbies. What do you think about this segment? Comment to us in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share the broadcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell.